How's it going, everybody? It's the Kansas Fox here. This is my channel where I talk about anime, video games, and cartoons. And today I'm going to be talking about Ninja Turtles. And more importantly, we're going to be talking about the Shredder. I feel like pretty much inside the IDW currently, I feel like Rise and the Michael Bay movies just don't get the Shredder at all. So I wanted to at least talk about that, like at least talk about what makes the Shredder the Shredder, instead of what makes him such a imposing and such a dangerous villain to the Ninja Turtles and stuff. So yeah, so I just wanted to like just get into that today. So currently, I'm not really much of a huge fan of what like they're doing with Shredder inside the IDW comics because it kind of made him like redeemed himself and whatnot. If you read the Shredder in Hell comics and stuff, and now pretty much in the IDW comics, Shredder is kind of like this whole guardian angel looking after the turtles and stuff, and I'm just not a fan of it. I don't know about anybody else, but that's just me personally because to me, the Shredder is just that type of character that is very irredeemable. I mean, I'm not against villains and stuff having redeemable qualities or being redeemed and stuff. Like, I feel like Dr. Eggman, which I'll talk about in another video from Sonic, is a redeemable character. But Shredder? Nah. He is as bad as they come. Even IDW Shredder originally. But they kind of made him go through this whole redemption arc and whatnot. But okay, well, I can understand if he's like redeemed and stuff, but if they're gonna go with the whole narrative that he's an anti-hero, at least make him like this whole anti-hero, but he's still kind of antagonistic in a way. I'll maybe get into some details about that later in this video. I'm just not a fan of what they're doing with him in IDW because they kind of make him come off as like this, like I said, guardian angel and stuff. Like, oh, he's always looking out for the turtles and stuff. He's trying to be like a good uncle type of character, and I'm just not a fan of it. That's just me personally. It just it just makes him not seem like, oh, that same kind of guy he was back when he was originally the Shredder. But if you're not gonna have Oroku Saki in the IDW become Shredder, why not just have Chirel, the Utrom Shredder from the 2003 series? Because he actually is in the IDW comics, and it seems like they are finally starting to do something with him because they had him in the comics for a second, but come on, like at least set up something. That's just what I want, like because like even like the 2003 series, they were able to come up with like creative ways to at least bring back Oroku Saki and stuff because like in the 2003 series, the Shredder was this alien from another planet, like he was Chirel, that's Utrom Shredder, and then turns out that he's been taking the identity of another guy named Oroku Saki, that being the Tengu Shredder, who was the original Shredder and whatnot, and then eventually that eventually he came back and started to try and take over the world and all that other stuff with his demonic sorcery, dark magic powers and all that. It's crazy. It's in the Lost Tribunal, the lost episodes of the 2003 series. Then there was Cyber Shredder and just a whole lot of things. So anyways, what makes the Shredder so like the Shredder? What makes him probably the number one enemy of the Ninja Turtles and stuff? Because yeah. So personally myself, I gotta say it's mostly because not only just his resources and his skills as a ninja, but it's also his whole personal vendetta with the Ninja Turtles, with the Hamato clan and stuff. Like the Shredder has a back and forth history with the Turtles and stuff. Whether he was the one who caused their mutation, like he did inside the '87 cartoon or the Archie comics, and then try to groom them to be his like perfect soldiers, or whether he killed Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shin, and then Master Splinter wanted payback for that, so he raised the turtles to be the Shredder's personal, like the Shredder became like their personal target and stuff, like in the old Mirage comics, or what else, or just anything, or he killed them in a past life and stuff, because yeah, and I'll probably talk about that in this video, but just a lot of things, I mean, the Shredder, again, the dude's very vindictive, he's very self-destructive, like, give this man an inch, he will go a mile. You give this man just, I don't know, 1 ounce of mutagen, he'll figure out a way to create like a mutant army or something like that, which he has in the past, and or Utrom technology and stuff like Krang and whatnot. Yeah, this dude would probably blow up the multiverse given the chance. That's how crazy this man is. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say there on the Shredder. But yeah. But just stuff like that just makes him like a personal enemy of the turtles and stuff. Like one of the most, like one of the best, because I feel like, well, like I said, I'm not really a fan of what they're doing with him in IDW and Rise. Like Rise was a decent story, but it's just not the Shredder. Like he just, he's basically like, supposed to be one of their ancestors, and basically he's been corrupted by this type of armor and whatnot. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know. It's just that's not the Shredder to me. And I don't know about you guys, but yeah. Not saying that it was poorly written, but just this ain't. Yeah, this is just not TMNT. And then definitely the Michael Base. Yeah, that's probably my least favorite Shredder. Hell, I'll put it even 87 Shredder over this one. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't care how cool the whole Iron Man suit that the Shredder had, which even that was kind of goofy. But still, like the Shredder inside the Michael Bay movies, he was not. He was, like I said, the suit was kind of cool, like the CGI Transformer suit and whatnot. But still, I'm not a fan of the whole suit and stuff because the Shredder's supposed to be a trained and skilled ninja on his own. Like this dude literally could take on the turtles and all of them, uh, and whatnot. But yeah, but no, he needs this whole suit of armor and stuff. And on top of that, his whole thing is he doesn't have a personal vendetta against the turtles or anything. Basically, he kidnaps the turtles and tries to drain them of their mutagen so he can like pretty much poison the city and then create a cure and then just make money off of that. Even though the Shredder's already kind of rich, so come on. Like come on, even in the first Mirage comics, like the Shredder had rose to power like when he was like 18 years old. He because he wanted, like in the Mirage comics, his brother, which is Oroku Saki, I'll talk about him in a second. He got killed and then he wanted payback, so he joined the Foot Clan. He became the leader at the age of 18. Took over the Foot Clan, took over most of the criminal underworld in both Japan and New York. Let's see, what else has the Shredder done? Became pretty much the Kingpin. He was selling drugs and stuff. He was just doing all types of all types of crime and whatnot, just going on and whatnot. So yeah, and then became the Kingpin until the Turtles knocked him down a peg. Then he came back to life, and then pretty much got back at the Turtles, and then eventually the Turtles ended up catching up to him at some point. So that's kind of the end of the Shredder there. But I'm just saying, like, I just don't feel like Rise, the current IDW, or the Michael Bay verse don't really get that. So yeah. Alright, so I'm going to be talking about some of the Shredder's notable wins and stuff, like some of his victories, like who's he beat and stuff. I'll probably talk about feats in another video, perhaps, but maybe you can probably see this as a, what you call it. But anyways, some of his notable wins. Let's see. So obviously, the Shredder has beaten the Ninja Turtles on multiple occasions and stuff. Usually, whenever like they're inexperienced or something, like back in the Mirage comics, the Shredder had took an L to the Turtles and stuff because they were trained to be killers and stuff to combat him. But in like some other stuff like the 2003 series or the 2012 series and stuff, that even with their numbers and stuff to their advantage, they still can't beat the Shredder because at the time they're usually like inexperienced and they're like 15 against a much more experienced Shredder and whatnot. So there is that. But still, I mean, so yeah, but he's beaten the Ninja Turtles on multiple occasions and stuff. But usually whenever they do gain, like, experience and stuff, and they do get train up, get stronger and whatnot, of course, they usually overcome and beat the Shredder. So there's that. So anyways, then there's also, or unless he has some kind of special armor or something like that, or something crazy like Super Shredder or whatever, yeah, he can definitely beat the Turtles in those type of ways as well. But yeah, still. So anyways, and then there's also Master Splinter. The Shredder has beaten Master Splinter a few times. Now, Master Splinter has beaten Shredder, but the thing is, though, about Shredder is that Shredder usually wins over Splinter in terms of, like, he has to cheat or resort to, like, certain tricks or something or whatever. It has to be a dirty fight, something. He's always, yeah. And what I mean by that is, yeah, the Shredder is one of the most skilled ninjas inside the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe. However, when it comes to Splinter, I would say that Shredder comes second to Splinter in terms of skill. But still, like, even so, like, Splinter, Shredder has like he's at least like somewhere like he's in his same like he's in the same league as him, but he's like not exactly like he can't beat Splinter in a fair fight. It's like Madara versus Hashirama almost, but yeah, like imagine Splinter, Hashirama, and Shredder as Madara pretty much. Just yeah, that's how it is. But anyways, but usually Shredder he either has to like backstab Splinter and stuff, like stab in the back or something, like when he's not looking, or he will probably just I don't know. What would he do? He pretty much would get some kind of amp, like a Super Shredder form or something, in order to like he needs these things in order to beat Splinter in a fair fight. But other than that, yeah, he has to resort to certain tricks or has to play dirty in order to win. And that's fine with the Shredder. He's that type of guy. And then there's Bebop and Rocksteady. Pretty much, if you don't know, Bebop and Rocksteady are pretty much his goons and stuff. Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady, I mean, they may seem a little goofy and really unintelligent in like the 1987 series, but trust me, these guys are no joke. They are some really tough mutants and stuff. They can like literally one-shot buildings and stuff and everything. They're really tough. They can knock over train cars and everything and wreak all types of havoc. And the Shredder literally should scale above them, or he's actually like beating them in a fight before and whatnot. Like yeah, like easily and stuff. I mean, obviously the Shredder is not as strong as Bebop and Rocksteady because they're mutants, and he's not unless he's Super Shredder. But still, even as like base Shredder, he's still able to like defeat them with his sheer skill alone and using their own force against them and that type of thing. So yeah, so the Shredder can definitely beat Bebop and Rocksteady. So definitely, that's definitely not a small feat. Anyways, and then there's Zog and stuff. Now, if you don't know who Zog is basically this Triceraton commando and stuff. And Triceratons, they're really, really strong. Like, they're these, like, alien dinosaurs and stuff. They kind of look a lot like humanoid Triceratops and stuff. And Shredder actually killed Zog and stuff, who was actually kind of a friend of the Turtles, but it's a long story. But yeah, but he killed him. So that was crazy. Then there's the Mutanimals. The Mutanimals are pretty much a gang of mutants and stuff, similar to the Ninja Turtles. But yeah, the Shredder beat the Mutanimals single-handedly. There was even an instance where he actually took on the Turtles and the Mutanimals, like 8 of them, against little old Shredder, and this guy managed to actually give them all a good fight and stuff. He managed to take all of them on. He didn't even care. He took on Leatherhead, Slash, Professor Rockwell, Pigeon Pete, like all of these guys, like all at once and stuff. And again, these guys aren't small fry. Okay, Pigeon Pete, yeah, not really. Yeah, he's not really that tough. But Slash and Leatherhead, yeah, they're just as strong as any other Triceraton or as Bebop and Rocksteady. And again, that's a big feat right there. And Professor Rockwell is a psychic too, so that's also crazy. And then he pretty much stomped them out when he was Super Shredder, so that's even worse. And then we're gonna get into some non-canon entries like Batman and stuff. And the if you haven't seen that TMNT Batman crossover movie, which is pretty good. I only saw it once, but I don't know. I'll see it again someday, or maybe I might buy it on DVD. I got most of the TMNT movies and stuff on DVD. Well, just about every one besides Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But still, in that movie, the Shredder actually beat Batman in a one-on-one fight. But in the end of the movie, apparently, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, Batman had to, he had to jump Shredder in order to win. And in the comics, this actually might be, true to even the comics, because in the crossover comic, Shredder seemed to probably be even more skilled than Batman, to the point where Batman probably had to use a suit just to beat him. So there is that. So anyways, so Batman. Then there's Rita Repulsa, from Power Rangers. Yes, Rita Repulsa. Now he didn't beat Rita Repulsa. I would say that they kind of left off in a stalemate and stuff. So that's a pretty big win, because I hear Rita is a very powerful sorceress and stuff. And then there's the Power Rangers and stuff. Yep, the Shredder actually defeated the Power Rangers, but to be honest with you, he pretty much stole their morphers, and then he also kind of beat them up while they were just like teenagers and stuff. But even still, like while they're just like basic like teenagers and stuff without their powers, they're still very skilled martial artists and stuff. So yeah, there's something like that right there, and then he also killed. And then this is also a little bit canon to the IDW, but he also took on Master Masao. Master Masao is Splinter's master. He actually killed him actually, and he even killed his own dad, Oroku Maji, and stuff in the IDW comics. So yeah, so those are some of the Shredder's notable wins. All right, so next up, I'm going to talk about some of the most evil moments that the Shredder has done inside the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, like some of the most evil acts that he's committed and stuff. So I kind of made like a list, so I got like at least 15 things and whatnot that the Shredder has done and stuff, whether it's personally to the Turtles or just in general. Yeah, so let's begin. All right, so at number 15, I have he took over New York and the Japanese criminal underworld. So, I mean, I threw this all the way in the back because, this is something that's minor to the Shredder. But yeah, he took over the Japanese and the New York criminal underworld and whatnot. He pretty much runs it. Again, the Shredder is like this whole kingpin type of character and stuff. At least back in the old Mirage comics, he was considered that. And yeah, it's even like that too. Like this dude, like he doesn't have to resort to like stealing mutagen from the turtles and then auctioning it. Like the dude's already rich for starters. He became like the leader of the Foot Clan by the time he was like 18 and stuff, and he's been running it for years. And he's got he's got like a loyalist of like foot ninjas and stuff who will literally sacrifice themselves just for the Shredder's sake. This dude pretty much owns the entire New York and Japan's criminal underworlds and stuff. They're toughest gangs. Hell, literally when the Turtles took out the Shredder, the cities like New York and stuff started to go to war. Like the gang wars and stuff started to increase because Shredder was out the picture, and he was like, all right, now that the Shredder's out of the picture, now we're gonna have to yeah, they basically was like, all right, we gotta resort to stealing his territory now because he's gone out the picture. So that's how it was. All right, so at number 14, he's manipulated teenagers into joining his cause. Now, if you watch the 1990 movie, the first one and stuff, pretty much the Purple Dragons, which is usually unassociated with the Foot Clan. I mean, they're associated, but of course the Purple Dragons aren't foot ninjas or anything. But still, the Shredder does have a influence or control over the Purple Dragons. But in the 1990s movie, the Purple Dragons were like usually working for the Foot and stuff, and the Shredder had control over that, like over these kids and stuff, and he was kind of manipulating them, all these runaways and all these like troubled kids into working for him and stuff, and convincing them that he's like their dad and this is their family and stuff, and he's just using them. It's crazy. So yeah, but that was a 1990s movie and whatnot. Shredder did not give a shit about these kids at all. He just was again using them so they can just he's just getting into their head so he can use them to his advantage. So yeah, and then number 13, he got Hamato Yoshi. That's Splinter inside the Archie, the 2012 and the 1987 one. But anyways, he got Hamato Yoshi. He got Splinter from both the Archie comics and the 1987 cartoon Exile from Japan. And he even framed him for murder inside Archie Comics and stuff. I might even put the scan up here. But yeah, he framed Splinter for murder, or at least in the 1987 cartoon, he tried to make it seem like he was trying to assassinate one of the masters and stuff. But he got Splinter exiled from Japan, so that's crazy right there. And then number 12, he stabbed Casey Jones, and now Casey can't play hockey anymore because of this injury. Because in the IDW comics, the Shredder wanted to draw out the Turtles, so he kidnapped Casey and had him all tied up and stuff, and he wanted to draw him out. Basically, his whole plan was he wanted to capture one of the Turtles and stuff, and we'll get into that later too. But point is, he wanted to draw him out, so he stabbed Casey, and yeah, and whatnot, and had him bleeding out just so they can so he can draw him out. So it was crazy. Yeah, and then number 11, he killed Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shin. This is usually in the Mirage comics or any other stuff that's where Splinter isn't Hamato Yoshi. But yes, he killed Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shin. Tang Shin, if you don't know, is the wife of Hamato Yoshi and stuff. But yeah, Shredder killed them. and even killed them in the movies and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, killed his rivals and stuff. Like in the Mirage comics, it was because he wanted revenge for his brother and stuff. Because Hamato Yoshi killed his brother and stuff, who was also in love with Tang Shen. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, his brother got killed by Hamato Yoshi, and then he comes back, kills Hamato Yoshi, and now Splinter is coming back to kill. Well, him and his like the turtles and stuff came back to kill Shredder. So it's like that back and forth. But anyways, and then the 1990s and then so on, like the 2012, pretty much they kind of wrote Oroku Nagi out the script and pretty much had Shredder take that place where he is Splinter's rival and he was in love with Tang Shen and he killed Tang Shen and killed Hamato Yoshi when things just didn't go his way. So that's number 11. Number 10. All right, now we're going into the top 10s. I guess you can consider those from 15 to 11 to be honorable mentions, but this is where things get dicey. Now, number 10, he beat Leonardo into a coma and whatnot. I mean, I know if you've watched the 1990s movie, the first one, it's actually Raph who's beaten into a coma and stuff, but it's usually Leo who's always the one who's getting beat up into a coma and stuff. And yeah, to parallel that scene, because it was originated from the Mirage comics and stuff, and then it's kind of like been like redone a bunch of times, like the 1990. It was done in the 2003 cartoon. It was done in the 2012 cartoon. It's a readaptation of Leo's micro series or his micro comic, basically. In that comic, Leo was pretty much fighting off like an army of foot ninjas and stuff when he was just doing a little exercise run and stuff, and he gets jumped, and then he takes on like all these foot ninjas and stuff until the Shredder pops up, and Leo's like, oh shit. Because at the time he thought Shredder was dead, and this is the first time they are seeing him coming back. And then Shredder comes, and then he takes out Leo, and then what he does next is he pretty much tosses Leo into April's apartment, and then they pretty much pop up at April's apartment and even burn the place down. Second time around, and that was a very important antique shop to April. Very like, not only was that her apartment, but it was like not only just her her antique shop for her livelihood, but even her like it had a lot of sentimental value. Like her dad used to own it and whatnot, and Shredder burning it down and whatnot. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, beat Leo into a coma. Number 9, it does not get any easier for Leo because the Shredder had actually kidnapped Leo and then brainwashed him to be his right hand man. Now, of course, the Shredder does not have the ability to brainwash people. But in the IDW comics, the Shredder, his wife, is a goddess or a yokai named Kitsune. Kitsune has the ability to mind control people and stuff, or create illusions and stuff like a Kitsune can do. Like Kitsune is like known for their trickery and whatnot, and their deceit, illusions and whatnot. But yeah, so basically Kitsune had pretty much brainwashed Leo into becoming the Shredder's right hand man and whatnot. So this is in the City at Fall arc and stuff. So for a while, yeah, Leo was kind of with the bad guys and stuff. Karai was not happy because in this version of Karai, she feels like she's entitled to be the leader of the Foot Clan, so she didn't like how Leo was just giving her, her spot like that. But it is what it is. So anyways, let's see, number 8. Speaking about Karai, this is in the 2012 series. He actually kidnapped Hamato Miwa and stuff, and then manipulated her into believing that that she was his daughter, even though she's adopted, but he manipulated her, lied and said that Hamato Yoshi had killed her mom and all that stuff, when it was him, like it was actually Shredder who did it and stuff. It was crazy. So yeah, manipulated Karai into believing all that stuff her entire life. That's crazy. It was a pretty good twist inside the 2012 series. But yeah, and then let's see. So that's number 8. Number 7, we got he ordered Bebop and Rocksteady to brutalize Donatello. So if you remember that infamous scene where Donatello is like beaten to a pulp and whatnot, and his shell is destroyed, and he's like presumed dead or whatever, and it's not like, well, Donatello didn't really die. He's actually in a coma, and that was all because of Bebop and Rocksteady. Well, it was actually the Shredder who gave that order. So let me add a little context to the scene. So basically, the context is some stuff was happening. Krang was trying to take over the world. Donatello, and this is earlier when they kind of were like, just starting out and stuff. Donatello he thought that if he struck an alliance with the Foot Clan and stuff, then maybe they all can work together to defeat Krang, because Krang is kind of the greater evil at the moment than the Shredder. Again, I'll probably talk about Krang another time too, because he's definitely a big character inside the Teenage Mutant Turtle universe as well. But anyways, so Donatello thought that, hey, maybe we should just team up with the. He kind of went behind everybody's backs and then teamed up with the Shredder, so they can defeat Krang. And pretty much when Shredder was kind of getting the short end of the stick here when he was fighting Krang, he pretty much ordered Bebop and Rocksteady to kill Donatello and stuff. And Donatello, luckily for him, he managed to survive, but he got his shell bashed in, and then he got comatized, and then pretty much or comatose. Then when they came in, they had to work fast to try and switch out Donatello's shells and stuff for a new one and all that stuff. And Donatello's consciousness got transferred to Metalhead, so he was in Metalhead's body. It was like technically like a cyborg and stuff. It was kind of weird, but that's what happened. So yeah. Then let's see what else had happened. Brutalized Donatello. Number 6. So he brainwashed the Tmnt in an alternate timeline. So this is an alternate timeline known as Deviants. And pretty much in this comic, it's an Elseworld story. So it's, in the IDW comics, like a what-if scenario. And this is a pretty bad and pretty dark timeline. It's a good story, but it's pretty dark. So basically, the Shredder managed it's like that whole scenario of Shredder kidnapping Leo and brainwashing him. This time around, he actually kidnapped all of the turtles and brainwashed them to being his subordinates, and then they go out of their way, attack Splinter and stuff. They believe that Shredder's their dad and whatnot. It's crazy. It's a lot of stuff happens. Casey's dead. Everything. It was terrible. But yeah, I had to say that's probably one of the worst acts he's ever done. And now we're about to get into the top 5. Alright, so number 5, he experimented on innocent people for the Foot Clan's technology. Sorry about that. So number 5, experimented on people and stuff. So in the 2003 cartoon, there's these subterranean monsters and stuff that live underground. And the reason why there are subterranean monsters is because the Foot Clan thought it was a good idea to start experimenting on them and whatnot, just because. It was crazy, but I guess they wanted to pillage some of the stuff and whatnot from the underground city of Atlantis and whatnot. So yeah, there was that. But of course, those are the Shredder's men. So of course, whatever the Foot does and stuff, the Shredder's accountable for it. Especially since he was the one that was in charge of that whole operation. Yeah, pretty crazy. So experiments on innocent people with the Foot's technology, turning them into monsters, and then luckily, Donatello was able to figure out a solution to how to fix all those people later on. Then, let's see, number 4. Alright, he killed the Turtles and Splinter in a previous life. So, okay. So, if you don't know the whole new story inside IDW and stuff, basically in IDW, the Turtles are reincarnated from these human ninjas into, Ninja Turtles, basically. But, yeah, but in the IDW, they explore the whole reincarnation angle and whatnot. I'm personally not a fan of it, but I'm not against it either. I mean, I personally rather Splinter just raise the turtles like how he originally did, just in the sewers and whatnot. But here it's okay, well he did raise the turtles in a previous life and whatnot, and he's still kind of and he's just picking up where he left off in the newer stuff. So basically that's how it went. But anyways, in their previous life, Splinter and Shredder had some beef, and then pretty much they left out after Shredder had killed his wife, killed Tang Shin, and then pretty much Shredder caught up to Splinter at one point, him and his sons and stuff. They're unnamed, Leo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael's past lives and stuff. They're really unnamed, but he pretty much caught up to them, captured them, and pretty much decapitated them, or at least cut them down it was pretty wild and stuff, especially since they were children, and even cut down Splinter, and this is, how they died in their previous life. It's some sad shit. So definitely, that's a number 4 moment there. Now we're in the top 3, the big 3. All right, so number 3, the Shredder has started some civil wars, and he has pretty much caused a lot of genocide as Utrom Shredder inside the 2003 cartoon. The Utrom Shredder, you might think that he might be goofy looking because of his whole appearance and stuff, and that he may not be that intimidating. Nah, this dude is something else. Even as an Utrom, he's about that life. Dude started a whole war, wanted to take over the universe. Hell, he actually did take over the world, actually, in another timeline and stuff. But I'll probably talk about that at some point. But yeah, dude took over the world at one point. So, and he can probably even take over the whole universe or solar system and whatnot. So, yeah, that's the Shredder, man. Like I said, I told you before, give this man an inch, he will go a mile and stuff. I'm not even kidding. But yeah, he, like, pretty much that death toll, that body count was at least, like, 3 million and stuff. Like, go back and watch, like, Exodus Part 2. They explain the whole thing right there. But yeah, Shredder caught, like, 3 million bodies from that. It was crazy. And he's been wanted ever since, of course, for, like, thousands of years. Then we go into number 2. So, this is probably one of the most shocking moments to me ever inside the 2012 series, besides Karai being revealed to be, Splinter's daughter and whatnot. But this, I was flabbergasted when I saw this happen. So basically, all right. So to add a little context here, so basically the Triceratons take over the world, or not take over the world. My bad. They're invading the world. And they're planning on destroying the Earth with this thing called the black hole generator, created by Professor Honeycutt. And basically, the black hole generator is literally what it's implied to be, a black hole device, and it's going to destroy the world. So basically, Splinter had the opportunity to try and stop the device. So he tried to stop the device, and he had to run towards it. And Shredder also was running behind him, because they kind of struck a temporary alliance, because, again, Triceratons are the greater evil here, not the Foot Clan at the moment. And here's the most pettiest and the most self-destructive thing I've ever seen the Shredder do. So they're running, right? And Shredder's running behind Splinter. This dude stabs Splinter right in the back when he had the opportunity to stop the device from blowing up the Earth, or from destroying the Earth and whatnot. And everybody's like, what the fuck? He just killed Splinter and stuff. Like the Turtles like, oh my god. Because, that's their dad and stuff. He just killed him. And Tiger Claws is like, Master, what did you do? He's like, he was about to save the Earth. Like, yeah, like, that just shows you how the Shredder's vengeance and his whole pettiness and stuff is going to lead to just self-destruction and stuff. I gotta say, the Shredder is like one of the most self-destructive and one of the most... cutthroat villains in all of TMNT. Like, no debate. But yeah, he did that. He stabbed Splinter right when he had the chance to save the Earth, and he was like, fuck it. If I'm dying, he literally would rather die to kill Splinter along with the entire Earth. He didn't even care. I was like, Jesus Christ. That was pretty bad. And then next up, he came close to destroying the multiverse. So that's the number 1. The number 1, so basically if you haven't watched the movie Turtles Forever, which is a good movie, okay, that's another movie I probably don't own, Turtles Forever. Actually, I might have it. I literally recently just bought my friend helped me buy a Blu-ray copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 series, so I was watching that the other day. I didn't see Turtles Forever, though. It might be on there. That's pretty cool if it is. I don't know. I haven't watched the entirety of it yet. But anyways, Turtles Forever, though. So basically, the Utrom Shredder comes back, and this is like a whole crossover episode, or a crossover movie with the 87 Turtles and the 2003, and hell, even Mirage gets a extended cameo in this. So basically, let's see what happens. So basically, I'm trying to think. So Utrom Shredder figures out that there's a whole multiverse of Turtles and stuff out there. And basically... he really, really, really hates turtles. I mean, the Shredder, his favorite dish is literally turtle soup. That's how much he hates turtles. And he definitely hates the Ninja Turtles, too. So, realizing that there are other multiverses out there with Ninja Turtles and stuff, and whatnot, the Shredder try to go out of his way to erase the entire multiverse and whatnot, or at least erase the multiverse full of turtles and whatnot, with combining Foot's technology with Krang's technology and stuff from the '87 series. Yeah, he built a device where he nearly almost wiped out the entire multiverse and even tried to conquer it. So again, the Shredder is a complete savage. This is a irredeemable man and stuff. I'm telling you, this guy should not even be like this guy should not be redeemable in the slightest. Like, he is that bad. Okay, so those are the 15 most notable evil things that the Shredder's ever done. And now to cap off this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the most people, like some of the closest people that the Shredder actually cares about. Because even though I do say that he's a cold-blooded and cold-hearted type of bastard, even more so, like he's even more cold-blooded than his own enemies. I know, bad joke, but still, there are actually people that he low-key actually cares about. So I'll talk about some of them. Alright, so I'm going to talk about some of the closest people and stuff in the Shredder's life. Who does the Shredder care about and stuff? I've at least came up with 5 people. There probably, possibly could be more, but I currently have 5 people that the Shredder cares about, okay? So, starting off the list, we have Hamato Yoshi. What? Hamato Yoshi? I mean, didn't he try to kill him? Or actually, hasn't he killed him before? Yeah. So, I'm going to be talking about some different versions of some of these characters and stuff. So, pretty much Hamato Yoshi is the Shredder's adopted brother in the let's see, in the 2012 series, and then in the IDW comics, he's more so like a clan's brother of sorts, but they do consider each other as close and brothers, like as brothers and stuff, or brother in arms, and like certain versions and stuff, like again the ones I just named, IDW in 2012 and whatnot. Like I said, in 2012, they were kind of raised side by side with each other, and then the IDW, they're like childhood friends, and they grew up as ninjas and stuff together, and then they had a falling out and stuff, and then eventually the Shredder felt betrayed by that, and then tried to kill him and his sons, and even killed his wife, and well, of course, he killed all of them. So, yeah. In the 2012 series, they had a fierce rivalry, which kind of grew to like this whole bitter jealousy over Tang Shin, and Shredder didn't like that, so. One thing led to another, and yeah, he's tried to kill him, tried to kill his sons, he took his own daughter for himself, so yeah. But low-key, though, the Shredder does, in fact, care about Hamato Yoshi in these versions, though. He does at least have some compassion towards him, even though he has tried to kill him before, and he's said a lot of antagonistic things and done a lot of antagonistic things to him. Low-key, he kind of does hold a certain place in his heart in these specific versions. So, yeah. And then there's also Tang Shin. Now, again, Tang Shin is kind of like she is like, well, she's the wife of Hamato Yoshi, and technically speaking, she's also like the mom to the Ninja Turtles and stuff. She's their mom, you know? Definitely like that in the IDW comics. That gets a lot more, that gets explored a lot more in the IDW comics and stuff. But Tang Shin, though, very innocent kind of character and stuff, very nurturing and loving. Shredder kind of fell in love with her inside the 90s movies and the 2012 series and stuff. So yeah, and unfortunately for her, in both those versions, though, he's actually killed her and stuff. In those versions, in the 1990 version, he was pissed off that since he couldn't have her, he would just kill her instead. And then the 2012 version, he killed her by accident, and then pretty much again took her daughter for himself, pretty much. But yeah, and then lied to her and said, "Oh yeah, well Hamato Yoshi did it." So, and then pretty much did all that stuff. So it's crazy. Let's see, number 3, we got Oroku Nagi. So if you don't know who Oroku Nagi is the brother of the Shredder in the Mirage comics and the Image comics. Pretty much Oroku Nagi is, like I say, he's the Shredder's older brother. He's pretty much the whole reason why the Shredder was motivated in the Mirage comics to go against the Hamato family, because he wanted payback. Because, like, pretty much Oroku Nagi was the one who was in love with Tang Shin, and he had this rivalry with Hamato Yoshi, and then Hamato Yoshi had killed him when Oroku Nagi wouldn't back off with Tang Shin, and one day he just beat her because she would reject his advances or his affection or whatever. So Matsuyoshi lost his shit, killed the man with his bare hands, blood and bone, pretty much. And then he pretty much fled to America. The Shredder didn't like that. As a kid, he was pissed off, joined the Foot Clan, started running it by the time he was 18. And then this man got his revenge. But that's his brother, Oroku Nagi. Yeah, so he at least cares about him there. Then number 2, we got Kisune. Now, if you don't know who Kisune is, or I mentioned her earlier in this video, but Kisune is the wife of the Shredder. Pretty much, she is a yokai, or a god, if you will, and stuff. But pretty much, yeah, they're married inside the IDW comics. She has the abilities to, again, mind control people, and she's also a very skilled fighter and stuff. She has, like, I don't know, like thousands of years of experience and whatnot. So yeah, and by the way, she's the Rat King's sister, so there is that. So yeah, and then number 1, we're gonna talk about the obvious. Karai. Karai is probably the number 1 person inside the Shredder's life that he actually cares about and he actually shows genuine affection to, and stuff. And whatnot. He really does care about Karai. Karai, if you don't know, is the Shredder's daughter. In the IDW comics, she's kind of his descendant. Well, Karai is the Shredder's descendant and stuff, so she refers to him as grandpa or grandfather and stuff, basically. But yeah, but the Karai, but pretty much, yeah, Karai is the Shredder's daughter, his adopted daughter or daughter, depends on which version you're looking at it. But yeah, but she's the Shredder's daughter, and he does actually express genuine care for Karai, even though he's not against sacrificing her for the greater good, or for his well-being or whatever, or for his cause. Then yeah, he's not against that. It has to be a good cause though, or to him at least. But regardless, yeah, the Shredder doesn't care. Even like, but in general, like in universally, like in most of the versions that where they're like family and stuff, yes, the Shredder does care about Karai, and whatnot, and stuff, like for real. And Karai is one of his most loyal and one of his most like, yeah, one of his most loyal you know, ninjas and stuff, and definitely the most committed, hardest worker, you name it. So those are some of the most some of the people that the Shredder cares about in his life and whatnot. Again, as sick as it is, as sick as the Shredder is, there are people he does legitimately care about. But he would probably either throw some of them under the bus or whatever. But it is what it is. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on the Shredder. I really do think he's an irredeemable character and stuff, and I should stay that way. I hope you guys enjoy the video.